Hello, everybody. This is Scott. I am Optional Rule on Twitter, YouTube, all the places that you can possibly go. I'm doing an ad hoc stream tonight to just play a little around with a game that's in early access on Steam called Medieval Dynasty. It is a survival builder game for a medieval town. You're set in a small cordoned off area and you are able to build out small towns, and that's as far as I've gotten actually. So I'm going to be discovering a lot of this game today. I'm just playing tonight for funsies. I'm going to be talking a lot tonight about Dungeons and Dragons, so I'll talk a little bit about this game. I'll talk about Dungeons and Dragons itself, particularly what's on my mind tonight to talk about. And then this is just a chat, by the way, so if you're in the stream and you want to say hello, please do. If you want to lurk, that's fine too. But what I'll be talking about tonight is sort of the extended, or the lack of extended survival mechanics in D&D itself, and some of the impact that has on the game. I'm saying that because I miss some of that gameplay. It's not incredibly important to me, but I miss that type of gameplay in D&D. I'm getting that itch scratched in games like Medieval Dynasty. Seems like a pretty good game. It is in early access. It's on the cheap on Steam right now, if I understand it right. It's about 22 bucks. So, but it works pretty good from the little bit I've tried. So I don't know this game well, although I have played a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and start out and see how this whole thing goes. I hope you'll join me. If you have any questions, anything you want to talk about related to D&D, related to Medieval Dynasty, related to life, nerd culture, anything like that, anything you see in the background here, go ahead and just drop it in the chat. I'd love to talk with you about it. So I am going to start a new game. I've never gotten far. These survival games I'm always restarting because I just want to get this perfect location for some reason for a game I'm not really going to play. I've never looked at the customize options, actually. Unlimited hit points, unlimited stamina. I don't want any of that. I don't really care. Events, sure. There's attacks. I had no idea there was attacks in this game. You can go longer days. So as far as I know, like a whole year or something like 3 days. It's quite short. So a whole season is 3 days. So I guess that's 12 days for a whole year. Spoiling food, poisoning. I didn't know any of this was a factor, actually. So this is good to know. NPC food multiplier, unlimited weight, unlimited water. Looks like a lot that you can do. I'm just going to go ahead with a straight game. I'm going to take the default options here. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new game. This is the story. I'll be quiet through most of this. Toplitz Productions.
I used to have a simple life. Whatever needed doing around the farm, I'd do it. Being the eldest son, it's tough. But at least we had a living, and our plates were never empty. Then, the war came.
It always does.
I lost everything overnight. The last thing I remember is Father pushing me away, yelling for me to run, to live. At first, I didn't know what to do.
I like the art.
Then I remembered.
I don't feel the need for cutscenes to have lots of 3D
A
effects.
story about my uncle, Jordan. He made a modest fortune up north, in a peaceful valley far away from the war.
Okay.
For weeks, I held on to that thought, until the valley from my mother's stories. I could see it. This is where I can start a new life.
Okay, so I like that art style. Man, I wish this was more available. If you've ever produced D&D material online, I do a little bit of that. Art is so hard to come by. I just love to get a hold of any of this to have it freely usable. All right, so you start out in this area. A new quest is available. Go talk to the Castilian Unigast, I guess it's pronounced. I know you have a little map. You're here at this area, and these are the sort of the little hamlets. They're not even really towns. They're hamlets, all set around this area. 18 degrees centigrade. It's spring, so it's actually fairly. It's not super comfortable, but it's not a little on the chilly side. All right, so my quest is up here at Gastovia. And I know I'm just gonna have to walk down there. So a little bit I know about this. You can just pick up just trees. It takes a little bit longer to pick those up. It's easier to do one shot to pick up branches off the ground. And there's some St. John's wort that I've never figured out what it's for. But if I pull these trees out, you can see it takes a second longer to actually pull them up. You can collect stones, and that's basically the game. It's like any of these games. It's collecting resources. Let me get a few more of these sticks. I know I'll need them. And I've only played a few minutes, so basically what I know you have to do is get down and start building a house and get the quest to do it and survive a season. So we're going to go down here. We're going to talk to our uncle, or I actually don't know what the relationship is. The uncle, or it's just the person I'm supposed to go talk to. And they give you a quest, and there's some mixture of like getting things unlocked by doing parts of your chapter quest. But again, I haven't done too much of this, so I'm just gonna keep heading down there. Look at these graphics, not bad, not bad. Although it's kind of a standard asset, right? I feel like I've seen games like this with the same palette and probably these even same assets over and over and over again. That's not a bad thing. It's just it's hard to distinguish one game from another. I think they're, oh my gosh, what was it? There's another medieval game of survival. I can't quite remember, where it's really low level. You have to dig holes, and you have to farm crops, and you have to do all the stuff manually with mouse click after mouse click. And they all have this similar sort of aesthetic. So rather than, oh look, all that wheat. Rather than worry about that, I'm going to go back, worry about picking up sticks. I'm going to go and just talk directly to this guy. So yeah, how does it loop back to D&D? So I've often lamented, and I'm never sure if I actually mind or I just think I mind, that there is a lack of meaningful long-term survival mechanics or any kind of really extended mechanics in D&D itself. That's the guy I'm supposed to talk to, and these games bring that up for me quite often. Hi, stranger, which brings you to the valley? No, I'm not. Something. Where's my name? You can basically take the jerk option or your own option. I need a home. I'm some background. My mother told me to come here. Blah blah blah. So what's happened? How did he die? Something. Oh, his uncle is dead. Okay. So I can craft small tools. If you have any advice for me, pop up, and then just give you some game advice. Gives me a hammer. Tells me a little bit about the tutorial for the game. I have a construction wheel, tab menu, all that kind of good stuff. You've probably seen this a million times in survival-like games. So I have a little quest up in the right-hand corner. My first chapter, my for beginning, is I need to collect a bunch of these different resources and then build a house, basically. So I'm going to go off and do that. So, talking more about extended mechanics in D&D. You know, that I think the reason why I'm not sure I actually mind is, I have to say, when it comes to survival mechanics in D&D, traditionally what people think about when they think about that is resource management. They think about checking off how much water you have, checking off. So I'm coming down here because I need to get some reeds, by the way. That's why I'm coming down here. So I know that on the water line they have a straw. That's why I do straw for the top of my house. Is you can see I need to collect at least 20 straw. But I don't know. It's supposed to be in here somewhere. Anyway, in D&D, they're used to the way they typically run survival mechanics, and what people tend to assume is that there's some reeds. You have to check off your daily water use, and you have to track how much water you're using day by day. And I don't know that that's true, but I think that puts people off. And I have to say, if that's what survival is, I don't have a huge desire to do that either. Although I do like prep and inventory management a bit more in D&D than most people. But I'm actually not sure that that's what it needs to be. If you're going to have sort of some long-term survival mechanic in D&D, does it truly need to be this, ticking off of food and rations, tracking of food, keeping your food safe, that kind of stuff? I'm not entirely sure that is the case. Other things that are typically associated with long-term survival or other kinds of mechanics are sort of hit points. If you're along your journey, you might suffer some hit points, fall down a hill, run across some kind of trap or something. But I think the reason why those don't work in D&D is that the long rest mechanic essentially makes it so that it really doesn't count. Like, unless you're going to go into another combat that day, no amount of injury or setback really matters in terms of how you can progress in the next day or encounter. It's not entirely true. There's a unused mechanic. Okay, I got way too much straw. And I need to cut down some trees, and I need to pick a place for my village. So I need to start building a house, and I know the eventual goal is you're going to build a village of your own here. So yeah, there's two. I could build down by this river. I don't really know a lot to choose the best location, so I'm sort of assuming either here or maybe up here. Up here might be something I'm interested in. I don't know what this other icon is, why there's just a single person hanging out there, or up here must be just like a singular house, like a hermit living someplace. I've tried to go down to this lake before, but I'll tell you that some of the problems I have is I want someplace where I don't have to run around for a lot of resources. I really hate running around for resources, and all of the straw and so forth seems to be along these lakes. So I'm going to just take a peek down there, see if I can find something. All right, so that's what I'll be doing. I'll be walking around here. Again, pretty nice graphics for an early access game, and this is early access, by the way. I think I'm going to go over there in that other lake and see if I can find set a nice town over by that lake. My problem is it seems like there's tax and a. Actually, I'm going to take back what I just said. I think I'm going to go sort of over here somewhere. Let me do over here. I'm going to do somewhere over here, or I'll do over here because it's a nice crossroad. If there ends up being some sort of like merchant mechanic or trade mechanic, it might be nice to have a central roadway. So I'm gonna make that assumption. I don't know if that holds true or not, but I'm gonna give that a shot. All right, so back to D&D and extended mechanics. I think the piece that's missing for me, like I said, is this ability to affect change on a more regular basis, like outside of the day. So, and there was an underused mechanic I was just mentioning. So there is a mechanic that extends past a single day in D&D, but almost nobody uses it. It is the hit die mechanic, hit die recovery. So if you're unfamiliar with D&D, the way healing is done is you spend hit dice or you sleep a long rest. So if you take a short rest, you can spend what's called hit dice, which means you can take your character's hit dice per day. You have one hit die per level. So if you're 6th level, you have 6 hit dice to spend during short rest during that day. You can spend them all in one short rest. You can stagger them out through multiple short rests, however you really want to do it. But you can spend them as you wish. And then at the end of presumably at the end of the day, you can take something called a long rest, which is an 8-hour period, and you recover all of your hit points. You don't spend any hit dice, and a mechanic that's not used is you're supposed to recover half of your spent hit dice every long rest. Now, that was intended to be a long-term mechanic in D&D, but again, it tells you a lot about a piece of game design when almost nobody uses it. And I've never seen, I'm not even talking about rarely, I've never seen anyone actually use this mechanic ever, anywhere. So I don't even use it because I get tired of trying to explain it to players and watching their disappointed faces. So, and really, what's the point of it? I mean, I don't, it's just drawback, but it doesn't really add anything to the game. So ostensibly what should happen is if you go out in a day, you get wounded or you get beat up pretty bad, you take a short rest, you spend some hit dice to recover, you continue on with your day doing whatever it is you do, even if you get wounded again, you end up taking a long rest and you get half those hit die back. So the next day, the very next day, it only counts if it is the next day, if you were to go get in a fight again, get wounded, and you wanted to take a short rest, and recover those hit points, you would only have half of your hit die. Let's say you spent all your hit dice. You'd only have, say you were 6th level, you used all 6 hit dice to do in your short rest the day before. You would only recover 3 to be usable the next day for short rest. So you'd only have 3 available for you. As you see talking through that, is that level of complexity worth it? It's honestly hard to say. So I think this is, it makes the whole point of or not point, but it makes the whole, pretty nice. It makes the whole concept of long-term survival, long-term resource management, not particularly fun. It's not engaging. Any rule that sets down that all you're doing is mitigating for a loss, kind of feels rough. So I think that's the major reason that type of play is not often included in D&D. I don't know that, again, I don't know that it's bad, because doing it just to do it has no intrinsic value. There's no, look at that little river. Now, I don't want to get along a river here. I'll go back. I know I'm jumping back and forth, and this is does not make this stream very super useful and interesting to people. So, but I'm doing my thing. So I hope I will find people interested in similar things myself. You'll see along the stream, I need a bunch of straw, and I'll tell you in water. I have to drink water per day. So your little water meter on the lower left-hand side, that little blue bar, if I get in water here and tilt down, I can just drink water out of the stream. I've done, in a little bit I've done this. I've never gotten sick. I've never, oh, it's dandelions. I wonder if you can actually pick those. I've never gotten sickness from water, which would be something that would happen in the real world. So I don't know if you have to worry about that. And we'll include that in our D&D talk actually too. So let's say, so again, a mechanic where all you're doing is mitigating for loss, preventing loss. It's not particularly engaging. It feels just like, I don't know. In D&D, I've never felt it like a super engaging mechanic. I know a lot of people don't either. So I think that's why a lot of people just don't do it. What's the attraction of it? Okay, I'm getting closer to where I need. So these distances between these little towns are pretty good. This looks like a good area. I've never actually been over here. This looks like a decent area because it's so flat. And I know when you build a town for town planning, for planting crops, having a flat space is really useful to continue building on. So, all right, so back to that long-term, short-term mechanic in D&D. And by the way, I'm theory crafting here. I will get to a thought for the possibility of a module of something I would like content I would like to create. It's been on my mind, and I've been noodling this around for a little while. So we'll get to that. I'm building towards why I think that might be interesting. The long-term mechanic piece of just mitigating for loss, not preventing you from losing something, doesn't feel as satisfying as gaining something. So I think that's that's a drawback to that style of play. So what's the point of the whole thing? I don't honestly know what the mechanic, what the appeal is of a different type of system, but I would love to have some system that let you play through. When I say play is a mix in D&D, mechanic-based play is a mix of role-playing and also gameplay, right? I don't think they're not required to be separate. They can be very similar things. Looking at this may not be the best thing in the world for a town because I don't have tons of trees here to chop down and make my house. Yeah, this might be okay though. Might be fine. These trees, I know the trees grow back like once a year or something like that. They actually grow back quite aggressively. So maybe this is better than I think it is. I might give it a shot anyway. What the heck? If I'm wrong, here's my hesitation. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna have to cart these trees back very far away. Oh, I don't have, and I want to see if I have reeds here. So wherever I want to get, I want to have easy access to reeds. Oh, I have good access to reeds here. That's good. And I want easy access to trees and stones. So yeah, so I've got trees here. That's probably good enough for what I want to do. I've got reeds here. That is also good enough. Let me make sure I have, oh, stone. I can see it. I already ran across a stone here. All right, so let me pick up a few stones and we'll get building here. So back to survival in D&D. I mean, question of what do you want to do? What do I want to do about that? That's it's an important question. So I'm going to build a stone axe here in game. You just hold Q down, you go down to tools, and you can build a stone axe. I will build a knife while I'm here. Weight management is a big deal in this game. So I think by building tools, it makes, I'm missing, what am I missing? A stone. I'm missing one stone. Let me find another stone. By building tools, the tool itself, whatever you create it out of, is lighter than the raw materials. So it seems like it's advantageous. What is this? Oh, it's also just a big fat chunk and stick. So I'm going to go around and get some more stones and build me a house once I get these tools in place. So back to D&D and sort of that mechanic. And if you have any ideas here, man, I'd love to hear them, because I'm noodling around how to create meaningful rules. I'm mindful of the fact, by the way, a barrier for me is none of my players, maybe there aren't many stones here, none of my players really enjoy the mechanic. I have the local community in the town I'm in. I live in Richmond, Virginia. The local community in this town is not really into that style of play. Again, not bad or good. It's just that's what their style is. They prefer more anime, not worrying about the details. Everything is cool and awesome, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. That's an adventurous style of play, but they aren't generally interested in survival mechanics. They aren't interested in anything that even applies a negative to them. That's actually a bit of a problem in running. They can be a little pouty if they don't say something cool and immediately get a bonus or a benefit. They're a little pouty about it. That's rough as a game master, but it's fine. They're still a great group. But I don't mean my group. My play group is fine, but I mean the community here in the Richmond area. All right, so let me make a knife like I wanted to before. I'll cut some logs and I will try to build my first house. So I think there's potential. I've always had in mind anyway that there's potential in D&D for the idea that you could do something to gain the ability to heal rather than start with the assumption of the ability to heal. And so an example of that is, let's take healing. I've thought about a mechanic, and I'm very unconvinced I want to do this, but I've thought about a mechanic where hit dice for healing is not automatic. You might do something like roll some kind of saving throw or roll something per day to see if you recover hit points. But then you can take explicit other actions to recover more hit points. So, maybe you do something like you eat a meal. Oh, I have to eat. And speaking of eating meals, I have to eat one in the world. You might be able to eat a meal and get yourself a couple of extra hit die for it. You might be able to have a good night's rest. So. I like, if you've ever read the Lord of the Rings, Adventures in Middle-earth, that's it. There's a 5e edition of Adventures in Middle-earth. It includes some interesting mechanics around roles for a travel group. And they include things like guards, scouts, cooks, quartermaster, just different things like that. And they provide you with benefits against shadow and benefits to your travel roles. But that doesn't really apply very strongly to D&D. You could. There's nothing that's preventing you from doing that. But there's nothing directly that gives you that ability or that need. So you could apply something like that to D&D. Let's say but what mechanic does that come around? It feels like there's only two opportune areas, and one is you could choose to have people build up many more levels of exhaustion, because exhaustion and hit dice are the only two real long-term mechanics for survival or something like that. I need 6 logs that happen in D&D at all. So there, other than hit points, which I think is a bad mechanic for survival, because it's supposed to be this temporary. You got the wind knocked out of you, not a sword thrust to you. That's a bit of a disconnect for a lot of people, but me included. But that's the reality of the game. So, what does that leave us? It leaves us with exhaustion, or it leaves us with it leaves us with exhaustion, or it leaves us with hit dice, hit recovery of hit dice. So how can we do that? And I've been noodling this around for a little while, and I'm really on the fence about, is it worth even to write up a supplement? Because and who might I even pass that supplement off to? Critique, because I wouldn't use it in game, not with the current group I have, because they wouldn't be interested in that. I have no interest myself. I'm forcing a mechanic on a play group who has no interest in using it. So if I edit, I can put different walls on here. Walls with windows, walls with doors. Let me do that. There's a stone wall with door. I can do stone buildings right from the get-go. Logs with 6 stones. That's a bit much. Or I can do a wooden wall with 4 logs and some sticks. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and just, because I'm messing around and I don't really have to do it. I'm going to just do a wooden wall from the beginning. So do this with logs. Oh, did I do? I don't want to do that actually. I want to do this with logs. Wooden. So I'm gonna have to create just a crap load of logs. So I want this to be a window. What are we doing here? Edit upgrade. So I want this to be window with logs, and I'm gonna just go around and create logged walls in every case. So actually, what I'm gonna do is start seasons and sleep. So I have to sleep. I need to. That's the one downside, is I really need to get this house built. So I'm gonna be just working on building this house while I'm talking. So again, the mechanic of how do you set exhaustion and hit dice. Exhaustion seems more game for a design element in D&D because the people are used to that. I think people don't use it much, but exhaustion isn't a mystery to people. They sort of understand what it is, even though they don't like getting it, and they know that a night's sleep will remove it. So if I was building up many more levels of exhaustion for travel and survival, there is a bit of a problem, because so my first tier problem is, let's say I wanted to use that. There's only 6 levels of exhaustion and you're dead. And arguably there's only 2 to 3 levels of exhaustion before you're in a death spiral. A death spiral in games means you suffer some kind of negative, so that you're you fail, you suffer a negative because of that failure, which causes you to fail more, which causes you to suffer more failure, which causes you to have more negatives. And it's just a cycle that once it begins, it's just a downward spiral. And the game seems a little pointless to playing, or at least it harshes people a little bit too much and removes their enjoyment. So that's a very real concern in developing games and having something that a mechanic that pulls on that as often as it does. How I don't know what that. So okay, I require 4 logs and I just use 6. All right, so that gives me like I like it. That gives me like a wooden wall. I'm gonna go. I can partially set up some of these. I just need to go grabbing trees and going back. I do notice, by the way, again, commenting on this game, these little birch trees, they only provide 2 logs, and I think the larger maple trees provide something like 3 logs per tree. So that's interesting mechanic. But I'm just going to keep working on this bad mamma jamma and get my house built. So the first problem is there's only 6 levels of exhaustion and you're dead, and really only 2 or 3, and you're effectively dead. Then you're just rolling dice until you die. Now, I actually enjoy that desperate scenario, like running from other monsters, hiding, stealth mechanics, that plotting through how I'm going to move through an area effectively. I enjoy those mechanics, but not all players do. And it doesn't make you a better gamer to do those kinds of mechanics. It's just something I enjoy. And a lot of people must enjoy it because there's so many games in the world that use that mechanic. I'm playing one of them, right? Where there's all these harsh mechanics around. I think I'm going to make this another windowed wall, actually. There's all these harsh mechanics around not eating on time. And speaking of which, I need to eat in game soon. And so not having those it's weird that to think that people must not like them or assume people must not like them in D&D. I don't know if that's true. So anyway, the exhaustion mechanic certainly is something I could build survival around. And I could see in my mind, if I put a little work into it, I think I could see something, where maybe there are roles like I just mentioned. There's roles in the Adventures in Middle Earth. I can put roles in here related to survival that allow you to do things like guide the party, navigate your way through, and if they make a bad roll, just throw out the idea entirely of random encounters. That random encounters are now a function of how well the guide has operated in that environment during that time. Have they led you to safety? Have they avoided danger? All that stuff. So it's not just a random function; it's a function of skill. That's attractive to me. I can then begin to put in things like so that, and if they muck up, maybe there's a level of exhaustion involved. So that's a possibility. I've also thought about how much of the journey itself is arduous. Maybe creating stat line. There's a couple great. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There's a couple of great posts on Reddit that I've seen around terrain stat blocks. That's what it's called. They are terrain stat blocks are basically assign difficulties to terrain, different things like it's difficult. I would do something different from what I've seen. I'm thinking about creating a stat block for terrain like its difficulty to traverse, and that affects the how quick you can move across it. It's it's a level for its wildlife, so how dangerous it is with creatures. So assign it like a CR. How likely it is for you to get exhausted would be another one. So deep snow, tangled woods, rocky terrain and mountains. Those would carry high probability that you might do something like become exhausted when you travel in that terrain. I'm going to build a fire and go to sleep in this game. I forget where it is. It might be here. There we go. So anyway, I'm going to do it in front of my cabin door. So I think it's there permanently. I can relight it several times. I think that so if you take this idea of terrain having different aspects now, different dangers to them, different difficulties getting across, you add it with the possibility that just travel alone might add some levels of exhaustion, that if the guide or scout, I won't say messes up, but if something doesn't go right for them, that you might be stuck with some additional levels of exhaustion. Those are I think a good mechanic to see about using. So I've thought about that. Where my doubt is that varied enough to make it useful? Like a mechanic like that is really cool in something like Lord of the Rings, Adventures in Middle Earth, because they pull it off well. They have something for most of the party members to do. I'm going to sleep here, like I said, actually, and just get to the next morning. Sleep. And so that's an act. It turns travel into an active event for the entire party, which is what I like about it. But I'm not sure that I could effectively come up with something diverse enough for all party members to use. And that's where, I could come up with roles and travel around guide. So basically very similar to what you see in Adventure in Middle Earth. There's a role of a guide, only one person can do it, or somebody can help with it. They do things like when you're in the terrain, how easily you're able to navigate it, and they would do things like determine whether the party gets exhaustion or a delay in the hours to get to a location. Those would be the basic things there. Then there'd be a guard. They do things like keep an eye out for attacks, ambushes, or dangers. So they might do things like if they roll well on their ability check. Again, these are my own makeup. I don't believe this is how it goes in Adventures in Middle Earth. Adventures in Middle Earth. It's just that the roles are similar. They would do things for you like if they rolled good on their guard ability, and the party gets ambushed, the party might get advantage on their perception check to see if they're surprised, let's say, or they might even discover the ambush before it happens. or they might get advantage to notice another group before that is randomly walking out there before they run across them. Those kinds of things, and then you can do things like the quartermaster, which, and then this stuff gets into sort of I'm less sure whether this seems fun or not. They can do things like discover cooking supplies along the way, plants and herbs that might cure an extra level of exhaustion. I can't figure out if I would mix that role. Oop, my axe broke. If I would include that role with something like a cook, or is that a separate role, right? Maybe the quartermaster is the cook, and the cook has the ability to cook a meal that night if they that can remove an extra level of exhaustion. So you have like the potential of two different things that can restore levels of exhaustion. So all of that together is a potential survival mechanic, which I feel like could have some fun in the game if people were into that. But again, I find myself unsure. I just need to write these rules someday and run it past people. So what do I want here? I want a window door, and I want to have it be log-based. All of my log-based cabining. Yeah, so that's what's on my mind. By the way, I need to eat. I seriously need to eat and get water. Let me get water first, because I think that goes faster. Yeah, so, I mean, if you have any ideas about this, I'd love to hear it. And if you're seeing this later, you have something, please knock them in the comments. I'd love to hear sort of what you have to say. Drink some water. But, yeah, so I've thought about that as a mechanic. I actually feel like that has potential, but the resistance to it is I'm adding a level of management players don't like. They may not like that in the genre. I'm pulling on a mechanic. Either I would say 80% of the D&D crowd doesn't know exists, and once you tell them that, they feel sort of offended that so they feel, most people will feel like you're putting this new mechanic on them. So then we get into the other potential I said, which is hit die recovery. Like maybe I could take a strategy that, I can even mix these strategies together, but maybe the strategy here is there is no. Oh, I need to eat first. That's what I was trying to do. There's no intrinsic recovery of hit die, that you can do activities that give you hit die, whether that be how do I eat something? Yeah, I gave about half my health back. I'm a starving peasant. I'm just gonna have to stay that way. And so that, like, maybe they eat a great meal. Maybe they have a tent that they can sleep in. So during that night, like sleeping in a good location is worth a couple hit die, and then sleeping in an inn, something like an inn, is an even better set of hit die, something like that. So I like the thought of that, but I'll tell you what my real problem is. How do I determine how many hit die are returned, and how do I not penalize people of higher level? Because when you're first level, you have one hit die. So either anything lets you recover a hit die, or it just becomes harder to recover as you go in higher level. Because if a night's sleep grants one hit die and a nice meal gives another hit die, it's just a few levels before you don't have enough activities to give you enough hit die back to really keep up with the adventuring that you're doing. So yeah, I don't actually have a great reply to this, because that's really been something I've been stymied about. I don't have a great solution there, but that's what I'm struggling with. If I was going to do that mechanic, I find myself struggling with that a little bit to figure out what the heck it is that I want to do. I would like to do something though. Wouldn't it be cool if the party, because that's another thing when you design a mechanic like this. I think it's bad. There's two additional things here I want to bring up. One is, it's bad if you make something the domain, like a strategic planning, not a combat plan, but a strategic plan. If you make it the domain of only one player, what's the interest of that to the group? The group doesn't want to sit around and watch one player plot through their, like, how many rations you have and where you're going to rest. And as a group exercise, I think it has some potential for fun. But a single player exercise, I think it could fall flat. And the other bit is this question of, what do you do with the ranger, right now the way D&D is set up is if you have a ranger, really a ranger, but somewhat to some degree as well a druid. If you have a ranger in your party, you don't suffer the penalties of nature. There's nothing in there for you to worry about. You're not, you're not suffering cold weather or getting lost or all of this stuff. And that's a design flaw that pops up repeatedly in D&D, that there's an immediate, you take something completely out of the equation. Curses with lesser curse, lesser restoration, and a lot of ability, like a lot of conditions. There's a number of things that D&D throws at you as potential obstacles, and there are player elements that don't just mitigate for it, but literally remove it as a concern. So, by the time you're growing up in level, there are a lot of elements of the game, which is why I think high level play is not as popular as mid-tier play. Once you get past a certain level in D&D, a bunch of play elements simply evaporate. They just evaporate for you. You're not worried about travel. You're not worried about time in the environment. You're not worried about exposure. If you're 8th level, you're really not worried about random encounters with a bear, right? So the DM has to artificially, if they want to do random encounters, they have to artificially either put you in some environment that would be odd to be in, like a plane or hell or something like that, or they have to, artificially have like dragons appearing lots all of a sudden for some unknown reason, and it creates this weird, the game begins to funnel over time where there's less and less available for actual play. There's less feels meaningful and feels challenging, and the DM is so always scrambling to come up with some other reason of why the world works for you differently now, but and yet somehow you're still being challenged. I don't think that that's bad. Again, it's not a knock on D&D. It's just, if you like this natural style of survival play, that pretty much disappears by about 3rd level. So, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So again, the big challenge for the hit die piece is, what am I asking players to do? How do I make it so they recover hit dice in a way that stays meaningful as they go up into levels? Because any solution I come up with seems to either have the alternating drawbacks of either expiring too soon. So once you're past a couple of levels, there's no way to meaningfully recover hit die. That makes it automatic, or I can get into like math that nobody wants to do. Like I could set activities so they recover like 1/3 of your hit die, or 1/10 or 1/4. If I did a half, you already get that. So I guess you take 2 activities, make you recover 2 halves of a hit die. That's a little weird. So yeah, I don't know. There's no palatable way, given how D&D itself is set up, without me really rejiggering the whole system. How do I get that to be meaningful and fun play in the game? And Medieval Dynasty, which I'm playing right now, that's made me think of how could I do that in some way that was fun. I literally chopped it in the air and the log fell down. That's how people die. I'm way down. So yeah, that's where my head is today around gaming. Again, if you have a thought, I'd love to hear what you think about it. I don't have something. I do think I talk a little bit. If you've seen a stream before, one of the oddities for me, by the way, of all of these streams is I don't know who's showing up. I don't know who's so I don't know if you come to streams before, if you're brand new. Either way, welcome back, or it's nice to meet you. But thank you for everybody who's here now. I really appreciate the people who've shown up. Oh, I did have a log left. Yeah. So, I wonder if there's a way to edit what kind of roof I can have. Wooden roof, planks. I can't do planks yet, or logs and straw, or wood tile roof. Yeah, I can't do planks yet, so I'm gonna definitely stick to thatch. I have a bunch of straw, so this is gonna give me more carrying capacity by using up what straw I have up here. What does this want? 1 log and a bunch of sticks, and I have more sticks than I need. So I'm going to actually have these little, they're not called gables. What are these things called? Wattle, it doesn't say, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and make that whatever read. So I need a couple of logs to set these up. So yeah, I've been thinking about this, and I have a number of things I'm writing in 2021. I think so. Yeah, this is a fun night. I'm just talking about what's on my mind, and no one's asking questions. Though a couple people here, I really appreciate it. How am I going to go about this publishing? So I mean, this is not an OGL versus DM's Guild debate. Those are valid platforms. I think they're good. I do. My inclination is to want to publish things that are not tied to DM's Guild required content with OGL, because it just gives me more flexibility. But obviously the distribution on that is more difficult. But sort of either way, actually, that all aside, what I think I'm going to do is I'm not going to get into full publications on day one. I need a couple of, yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? Oh, it looks fine. Anyway, that's a choice I made, so I'm going to do it. I can upgrade it later. What I'm going to do is small one-pagers on these, outlining these concepts, and then I'm going to bring it back around and see which ones get sort of the initial outline, get a reaction from the community about what seems attractive, alternative suggestions, and then for the ones that seem worthwhile, I'll go ahead and do a full write-up. So I'll probably come across with 1 or 2 page write-up about the potential survival rules, probably 2 pages, one for options related to hit dice, one for options related to exhaustion. That actually might take 3 pages, because one to set up the roles and survival mechanic and how that whole thing goes, another page to talk about the exhaustion mechanics, and another page to talk about the hit die recovery mechanics. Put that out there, see what people think about it. And by the time I'm doing that, I've almost written the whole rule. That's fine. The same thing with other supplements I've talked about. I've talked about doing a supplement for a couple of ventures that I would put out there. Again, I think the potential here is to do a 1-page dungeon on some of these things. Let the crowd who might be interested in talk about, do they like the outline? Does it seem attractive to them? Do they want to buy it? And then prioritize the ones that have gotten some good set of feedback. Anyway, that's my what I think I'm doing. I'm in that process right now. I'm writing the outline for Vatheron, City of Mad Inspiration, which is a city in Eberron that I want to post a setting for. I used it in my homebrew camp, not homebrew, but my Eberron camp, my home-based campaign that I was running before COVID ended home-based campaigns. So I'll do a page write-up for that. I must have I'm probably so loaded down with sticks, I don't know what to do. This will be nice, because once you get this house built itself, I think you automatically get a bed and some interior storage. So I will look forward to finishing this. I wonder, I've done one thatched roof. Yeah, there we go. Yep, there we go. I've got a cooking pot. I've got a double sleep bed and a single sleep bed. So I guess they're letting me have one for the family. Yeah, I'm going to open this. I'm going to do things like put a bunch of sticks in there. Not every stick, obviously, but I still have a log. So let me put the log in there. Transfer. There we go. Sticks. 200. I'm sure I do not need 204 sticks. So I'm going to do like 175. So accept. Put that in there. I'm going to carry 2 stones with me. I'm sure I don't need 23 straw. So I'm going to put all my straw in there. I have some coins. I don't know what St. John's Wort does in this game, but I have that. Cool. Put that in there. And what else do I need to do? I need to set a trap for a rabbit. I need a wooden spear. I need to hunt a wild animal. You know what? I bet you I need that log for my spears. I'm going to get logs. And I don't think I need the rest. I think I'm good. So let's get I don't see any rabbits around. I wonder, I've seen rabbits when I walk around here. You see little animals running around doing their thing. And I don't know if that means they don't come to this area if you don't see them running around in the world, or if you can set up a trap and do it. So I'm going to actually just I'm going to craft a little rabbit trap. I'm going to set it out here, and I am going to see if I can capture me a rabbit. Like if they'll just come around this area, or if I have to have trees or something like that. So I'm going to put it out here so I can see it pretty good. -10 sticks. All right. What else do I need to do? I need a spear, a wooden spear. I know you need several of those, so I have one log. I'm going to go down and chop down another tree. Now, as far as I know, all these trees will grow back within a season, and I'm hoping they do, because I don't like this stub village here. My town is just covered in stubby trees and tree stumps. You have to dig them out. So I will hope that they grow back at some future date, maybe next year. I think after winter they do. 4, 5. I'm going to get 3 spears, and I'm going to go out and hunt some beasties. What do we got? Do I see any rabbits? I don't see anything moving there. So yeah, my publication, that's the way I plan to go about these publications. If you've been following me on Twitter, and I hope you do, I try to keep a robust conversation, although I've taken a little bit of break these last 2 days because I just finished through the month of November what they call Naga Demon, which, oh, there's a deer right there. So there's obviously some animals here. Let's see if I can hunt that bad boy. Bad boys, I need your meat. So yeah, I am in that month, Naga Demon, as I mentioned. That means I've been posting I had been posting through the entire month of November, D&D creation per day, which was pretty good, actually. I did pretty good. I did every day. I think I missed Thanksgiving here in the U.S. So if you're not in the U.S., so we have a holiday, pretty big holiday called Thanksgiving in the U.S. Here I can crouch down and sneak up on this little dude. And I missed that day. See if I can do. I don't know how to aim in this thing and how. Oh no! Right over the top of him. Jeez, oh, he ran away. I'll go find him. He doesn't run that far, thank God. I wonder if I can pick up my spear, though. I would hate to lose that thing, especially since it takes a whole log. I don't see it. I think I lose it. Or I've just got a really strong arm. Wait, something was there. A stick, not a spear. That might be a spear. Wooden spear, got it. So I've been posting stuff once a day for the entire month of November, and uh-oh. Did he die? I'm not leaving the poor little digital animal wounded. Yeah, he still runs. Did my spear fall? I don't see it. That's fine. So because of that, I took a couple of days off because I just had really been trying to stick to that ethos of writing something a day. And I did it. I pretty much did it except for Thanksgiving Day itself. And I was pretty proud. Oh, come on. How many spears does this thing have to have in it? I probably shouldn't be hitting it in his butt. So I needed a day break or so. So having done that, I'm getting back in December to some writing. I also need to write some shows because it is my intention to write to do more informed YouTube videos, not just live stream. 3 spears and you're still not down? Come on, buddy. I'll run up and hit it with an axe. Ugh. Okay. Maybe I should have just done that. I'll be adding those creations here soon. Did I get my spears back? 5? Do I have spears? Nope. Punch. No spears. Wah wah. Oh, I do have some wooden spears up. They're damaged, though. Looks like I lost one. That is fine. I have successfully survived. Now, my next chapter is I just have to survive for a season, basically. So I'll get back and I can pull these mushrooms up. I know they're edible. Give myself some food because I start out with a little bit of food and I'll be burning through that over time. So all the survival mechanics I talked about, by the way, I don't know, hopefully it's apparent, but what I'm trying to do in that is not count rations, not count how much water you're drinking, and not bean count. I'm not looking to create yet another like avenue of hit points where they have to worry about individual rations and inventory management. I'm trying to create an effect-based system, which is exhaustion and hit die that you get back. And that's integrated with the combat system. And so these berries here, I know you see all these berries. I know you can eat them, but I do also know that it's spring right now, and they're unripe if you pick them, and not really worth a whole lot. So at least nutritional value wise. So if you wait till summer, I think it is, and you pick them, they'll get some nutritional value. Now I've run into the woods, and I actually don't know where I am. I think I'm going back this way, and I'm pretty sure actually I can cook that meat too. So I'm gonna cook. Oh, and if you look, I'm actually starving. I'm almost down completely. So I'm gonna eat this apple. I know this gives me almost nothing. So I just ate 5 apples, and you can see I have the barest small sliver of food back. And that's what I don't want to recreate in D&D. I don't want to recreate. Oh, I do have my house on my radar, so I can head right to it. I don't want to create, ticking off boxes or counting food, especially since that's not the mechanic. You're only another thing that I think is bad about, not fun. I won't say bad, but or try not to say bad. I keep saying that. That I don't think is fun about that mechanic is you're not actually managing the problem. You're managing the thing that causes the problem. So, ticking off food and water and keeping track of days and so forth, that's not the actual mechanic. That's just what you do to figure out if you start using the mechanic of survival. So, I don't have any rabbits yet. I'm going to give that a full day, let it go overnight and see about that there. Light a fire. Yes, and then cook. I think that's how it works. No. Available. Exit, sleep. I don't want to sleep. Oh, I just tap it once to cook. Roasted meat. I can, salted meat. Oh, I guess I can, if I get salt, I can do something with that. So roasted meat. I'm going to do some roasted meat. So yeah, like I was saying, the drawback with the counting rations, counting food is that you're not engaging with a mechanic. You're managing a system that determines whether you're engaging with the mechanic, and I feel like that's cheap. Not cheap, or I don't feel like it's interesting. Like what's in it for the player? Why is that exciting and fun to do? It's just a management task. Now planning is different. I think the only fun for me, at least when I play, if I have to do real survival within a game, or I have to do, I like the planning aspect of it. Like planning out how much food do I need for the journey if something goes wrong. No, I'm in trouble. That kind of stuff. But I don't particularly like checking the boxes off in the wilderness and letting, just because at that point it's either going to succeed or it's not going to succeed. I'm going to eat all of this roasted meat. Actually, let me see how much builds it. Yeah, not much hunger is gone from roasted meat. That is a bummer, man. I'm going to eat all of this roasted meat because I need some chunk and flesh back on my system here. So having done 4, wow, that's almost as bad as an apple. This seems weird, doesn't it? That meat, all roasted meat is about as nutritious as an apple. That's disappointing. That is quite disappointing. So broadleaf plantain is 10 health. Dried meat is 5 health. Mushroom is 1 health. Wow, 45 health for an oat roll. These guys are not keto. Yeah, I'm just gonna burn through a bunch of meat and all these mushrooms. I mean, what do these mushrooms do for me? Actually, maybe I can cook them. I have a cooking pot in here, don't I? I go here and I do a cooking pot. What do I have? Porridge. I need oat grain. I need rye, cabbage meat, carrots and meat, salted meat, beetroot. So I need some plant material and to make a more of a substantial meal. I do know you can farm in here. I'm not there yet. I got a lot to do. And one of the things I know you need to recover is a fertilizer bag. That's actually what tripped me up in last game. So last game I was playing, I had a not as great a house. I did I'll carry my stone with me. That's good. Leather I can probably put in there. I don't think I would need leather for anything. Maybe I do. Maybe I can make a bag with leather. Let me see. Because what I ran into last time was that I needed bags of fertilizer, and I could buy fertilizer, a simple bag, 3 leather. I've got 3 leather. What does that do for me? I have no idea what a bag does. 1 simple bag. And before, I had to get bags of fertilizer to progress, but I didn't. I was able to buy fertilizer, but I couldn't find bags of fertilizer, so I had no idea what that meant. And I got stuck and just shrugged and stopped messing around with it. Stuck in stone. Oh, this is my, what is this? Miscellaneous. Is that the bag I just made? Or I didn't pay attention. It's entirely possible my carrying capacity went up when I made that bag. Simple bag. Here we go. Crafting resources and a container for many different things. Okay. Do I equip it? Is that it? What is this? I don't know what most of this stuff is. What can I? So I can unequip. So it's equipped in 4 for some reason. So my carrying capacity stays the same. It's certainly not. I have to select the slot I want to equip it in. 8. All right, so what does 8 do for me? If I bring up 8, oh, fertilizer, 0. All right, so I can collect fertilizer in this bag to plant crops. So I think that's what I want to do. I think I need a hoe. What do I need for a hoe? I need a stick and a log. So let me cut down another log. Deforestation plan is underway. And I will create a field, and I'll try to get some carrot seeds and put a carrot out there if I can. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right. Boom. So I'll sleep after I do this. I'll go back to that town I started at, collect a few, buy some fertilizer. I don't know if I can collect it. I think you can once you get animals, but I didn't see a way to like follow a cow around and collect manure from it. And then I'll come back here and I'll see if I can plant a field before the end of spring, because I'm the 2nd day in spring now. And I might as well collect these sticks, by the way, if they're falling here. 2nd day in spring, that means that I have 1 day left of spring, and then it will be summer. So I'm going to collect also a bunch of berries if I run across them this time, because I think I can sell those. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I can sleep in my bed for the first night. Let me put all of this stuff in. Oh, let me craft a hoe. Let me, oh, here we go. Ho. I'll put the remaining logs in that storage, and I will, I don't know if I want to build I'll probably build the actual farm plot tonight before I go to bed. And yeah, let me put the log in there. That gives me back, I've gotten quite a bit of extra weight built up. I probably don't need all of these spears. Yeah, I'm back down to the 75. A wooden hoe I've got. What else can I drop here? All of these conditions at 100%. My torch is at 99. My wooden hammer is at 1%, so I'm going to have to build another one of those soon. My wooden axes, but those just disappear. I'm not worried about that. I still have some stones. Let me drop them in there because, I mean, who cares? I can pick up more along the way. Stones are plentiful. I've got I'm down to 17 kilograms. A little dark out. Do I want to? I'm just going to go see if I can get fertilizer and not worry about trying to poke around in the dark. Sleep in my double bed. And I sleep for the night, wake up. All right. Back to town. See if I can get some do I have to go to that town? What's the closest town to where I'm at? It looks like this Denica or something like that. I am going to try to go to Denica. Oh, did my rabbit trap go over the night? That's what I wanted. No, didn't. Deactivate. Activate. Looks like there's nothing I can do. So I'm going to activate. It looks like I can't move it. That's a bummer. Yeah, I'm going to go straight south, see if I can't find this town, And hopefully they'll sell me some fertilizer there, and I can come back and start planting crops. I'm going to go towards bushes when I see them, so I can see if I can pick some berries, because I know I can sell berries, and that will give me some silver or whatever the currency is here to buy some fertilizer. Whoop. Is that something? Nope. 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 I'm sure this thing I'm looking for is down this road. Then it'll give me a section. Oh, berries. Collect. So yeah, some of these things, if you have to pick, there's a small delay. Oh, mushroom. Berry. I think you can eat these berries too, but I think they're basically worthless at this point. Again, when you get to summer, you have you have the possibility of eating berries for something nutritious and useful. But really, right now, I think it's pretty useless and doesn't serve a big role except to be sold, at least as far as I know. So we'll do that. So, I mean, if you've heard any of the D&D talk, I would love to hear your take on it. Would you find it fun? Is it worth even putting that write up, that treatise together and run it past the community? I mean, my inclination is always yes, but time doing something is time away from other things. And that, I will say, that's one of my weaknesses as a creator, that I and let me actually improve my skill. I think K is the skill thing. I've been building up skill this whole time. So you can see I have an extraction skill. I have 1 skill point here, so I can put in woodcutter, miner, 1 with the earth. What does 1 with the earth do? Slower pickaxe, shovel, durability loss. That's probably actually pretty good. Slower axe durability loss. That's also probably good. Miner, woodcutter, 30% faster logging. Right now I don't need that many logs. What's a mule? Mule is 5k bigger weight limit in inventory. Excavation master, trees cutter, trans. I'm going to go with woodcutter because I think... actually, you know what? I'm going to go with slower axe loss or greater axe durability, because, I mean, that just saves me resources in the long run. Oh, it's not available. Tier 2, I see. So I have to pick extraction knowledge, plus 1 more skill points from extraction activities. I think that means it levels up faster, I think. I'm going to take it. I don't know what else it would be. Survivalist. One of these, 10% slower loss of food. That's actually pretty important. So for my survival technique, I can do iron liver, better temperature tolerance, or survival knowledge. Plus 1 skill point. Again, I don't know if that actually does anything for me, so I'm a little reluctant to do it. Poisoning could be a problem, but I know I'm heading into winter, so I'm going to take... Yeah, I'm going to take that extra point of cold tolerance and call it a day. All right. So yeah, if you have an opinion on any of those survival mechanics in D&D, I would love to hear it. Oh, there's a little fox. Look at that, buddy. Hey, buddy. Okay, I'm not going to hunt you. So if I did something like that, if I included it in my game, certainly, I would have to... Have I missed this town? Am I there yet? I'm almost there. Boy, these distances are pretty good. I just know that I would have to probably find a different group, to be honest. I don't think the current group I have would be into that. But I don't know that's true. I will say a lot in game mastering, a lot of games, a lot of individual campaigns, even with the same player, rely more on the tone you set when you form the campaign than people realize. Like, people have a tendency to say, my group likes X, or my group likes Y. And people have taste, and that runs across many people, of course. But people aren't only one thing. Sometimes I need to find one of these people with a bag and see if I can do things like fertilizer. What I'm trying to figure out here is I have a bag. So if I get something like fertilizer, show me your wares, lady. Show me your wares. If I get something like fertilizer, can I put it in the bag that I have, or do I have to do something else with it? Oh, I see flax grain, flax stock. There is no. I can buy a simple bag there. Should be going now. I want to find somebody who can give me fertilizer. So what I was saying about when you initiate a campaign, you know, when you set down the rules to begin with, I think that becomes really. I'm gonna look in here and see if I can find some manure hanging around. What you got, buddy? Nope, I don't want to steal stuff. Buy him for 3,000 silver. Nope, not gonna do that. Buy a lamb for 2,500. Oh, so that's how you get. All right, that's fair enough. That's how you get goats and things like that. I guess you build a fence around it. But what was I asking? What was I asking just 2 seconds ago? Because I can't remember anything. Yeah. Oh, so you know how you set the tone of a game before you begin really makes a lot of difference. Here we go. Fertilizer. Its price is 10. And it looks like a bag holds 3. So I would need 30. I have 50. I only have buy as a category. So I'll buy 3. DnD. And accept. For some reason, I just got 4 fertilizer. I'll go for now. I don't know what just happened. I probably overbought. 4. Let me see what my inventory says now. So 8. Is my fertilizer in the bag? Fertilizer is not in the bag. Drop, assign to slot, up, down, left, right. I don't know what's going on, buddy. I really don't. 8. Fertilizer 4. So I have a bag. Okay. I don't know why it makes you buy a bag. I guess it's the equivalent of a tool. So I'm going to head back to my. Oh, I should have saw if that guy will buy these berries from me. These unripe berries. Replace a little bit of money. So yeah, I think if you set a beginning of a campaign and said, listen, this is going to be a survival-based campaign. I have 40 berries. They sell at a price of 1 each. I'm going to sell F. I'm going to sell all of them. I will accept. And now I'm back to 50 silver. Great. That's awesome. I should be going. I'm going to look for more berries to see if I can sell a few more tomorrow. So yeah, if you sit down with your players before a game, there's heavily in conversation in D&D and all of the D&D community is this concept of session 0. And session 0 is one of the most important things you can do for a game. Absolutely, I'm not challenging that concept. But session 0 is incomplete. There's a session -1 or 0.5, whatever you want to call it. There's a period before. There's an assumption if you've gotten together for session 0 that you've established certain premise for why you're getting together to discussion session 0 at all. I call it the pitch. There's a game pitch moment where you're pitching to a player a style of game, a genre that you want to have, the sort of maybe the broad strokes of the storylines you would form in this game, and that could be no storyline. It could be a sandbox, complete sandbox. But you're establishing the basis of what you're trying to discuss in session 0. Because if you recruit people coming in to a like you really want a horror game, you want to run a horror game, and that's where your mind is at as a game master, or you is this anything? No. Or you just want to do something else. You just like Rime of the Frostmaiden. That's a current game that I'm running. I couldn't start a game and then the session 0 start talking about survival and the Arctic North, and then everyone comes back and says, whoa, I want to talk about doing something in the Summerlands or in Chult or something like that. That would just why would we do that? That you need to establish the premise for why you're getting together in the first place. And the best way to do that is to pitch a game to players and ask them, would you be interested in playing this game at all? If you've ever followed me on Twitter, you might have seen I did a whole pitch deck for my current game. What is that? Feather. Oh, I can pick up some feathers. And you know that really worked well for me. So I pitched Rime of the Frostmaiden to the current group that was coming with me in the game. All right, I have a broad daylight. I'm going to put some fields here and plant them. So I need to have my hoe in slot 4, and I'm going to start planting. Yeah. Bolster. What can I do? Does that do anything for me? I'm hoeing. No, that doesn't do anything for me. I bet you I need to plant parcels first or something like that. Storage, resources, farming. There we go. Field. I'm going to plant a field. My field will be beautiful. My field will be wonderful. All right, so I'm going to go a little 4x4 because I have 4 sections of fertilizer. Yeah, so I'm going to do field and crop. Fields can be created with a maximum size of 16 by 16. The individual field tax depends on the size of each field. To be able to grow something on it, you must first plow it with a hoe. Appropriate seeds are needed for sowing. Oh, I didn't get any seeds. Oh, no! You can create the bags yourself in sowing or purchase them. Right, yeah. Oh, so I need bags too. I don't want to put my seeds in my fertilizer bag. Oh, they're all going together in the ground anyway. The manure is produced by pigs when they feed. You can collect this from the ground. Okay, so next step. Bag fertilizer required. So session 0, if you saw this resource I posted, before session 0, the pitch. If you saw the unplowed field. Hoe required. Okay. I hope I'm not doing this out of order and wasting all this time, but yeah, it's whatever it is. So I need a hoe required, fertilizer field. Now it's plowed. So I need a bag of seeds. So I've got a bag. I just need to go buy seeds, and I guess I need 4 seeds. So I'm going to let that lay fallow. I'm going to go back to the town I just came from, which actually maybe I'm going to go to this other one that actually seems slightly closer. So I'm going to go to that one across the river, wherever the river is. 4. And they'll let me get down by the river and search for more berries to sell, to buy more seeds. And the river is, which way is it? It is the one to the right. All right. So yeah, I put up something, back to what I was saying about the pitch and the pitch session. If you've been following me on Twitter, I put up something in NaNoWriMo mode called my pitch deck, my Rime and the Frostmaiden pitch deck. It is, I like it. I was a little hesitant to use a technique like this because I thought it was over businessy, a little bit too much, but honestly, yeah, it had great results. So what it was about 5 slides that told players things like what campaign was I thinking about running, Rime and the Frostmaiden in this case, what genre that the campaign would basically be around, which is isolated horror, survival, things like that. There was a slide, a few more things like that. I compared to like what movies might you draw inspiration from for a game like this, and what books, and bunches of different stuff like that. And another slide was around what house rules was I interested in using. That was more negotiable, and I said that in the slide. But the kinds of house rules that I'm interested in, I list 5 or 6 of them that can go on a single slide. Then I separate out table conventions from house rules, because the difference between table conventions, like a table convention isn't a rule. If you do something like one of my table conventions that I ask people to roll to hit and damage at the same time. That's not a rule. Both hit and damage are things that are already in the rules. It's just a convention. I'm asking you to roll them at the same time, so it saves time at the table. So that would be like a table convention. And my house rules, what the heck, I might as well talk about them. They're just simple things like you get 2 hip die to start with at first level. I do that. You don't roll for hit dice again at second level. Once you go down, if you go to 0 hit points, the first death save you fail incurs 1 level of exhaustion. It's just different stuff like that, and a few other small ones. And table conventions are things like I just said about the roll. Everyone recommends this at an event, that roll damage at the same time to hit really saves time. I use monster average damage. Although actually now that I'm in virtual tabletop, I just roll it because I can roll damage at the same time too. The other conventions, what else I like in that? I have this push it for success that I can't get the players to use. It's been somewhat frustrating. Not frustrating, but I think they would enjoy it if they got into it, but I just can't. Players are always interested in asking for more. They always want to do some cool action and ask for more out of a combat. And that drives me crazy because all it's asking for is more. And there's this concept that I love from other games called setting the stakes, which means you can ask for something more, but you have to sacrifice something. So you say, I want to like I want to do this extra action. I'll give you an example, and I should have led my players through this, and this really is a not no, but it's something I didn't do great as a game master. I didn't seize my opportunity as a game master. Last session, we had this great fight between the player characters and this group of harpies that attacked them in the middle of the night. In fact, they were camping, going to this one location, the Cauldron Caves, to fight. The barbarian player who was on watch heard this lull, this lithe singing, sort of drifting over the snow in the middle of the night during the watch, and they failed their wisdom save, and they ended up wandering charmed out of camp, going to the harpies, and this fight broke out. Big fight, lots of running. The player character paladin gets up to the harpies, who are sort of flying 5 feet above ground. She wants to do this mechanic where she like jumps on top of the shoulders of the barbarian and tries to cut the legs off the harpies and do all this maneuvering. So she's basically saying, I want to do dope stuff. I want to do awesome dope stuff, which I love, but she wanted a bonus for it, and there's no reason to do that. I mean, D&D assumes that you're already doing everything you can to maximize your attack. You don't need to like just describe something, and people don't appreciate this enough. I don't do a lot of those bonuses just because you say something good, because it overly rewards extroverts. And I love extroverts. I wouldn't want an entire table full of extroverts, but the end result is I don't want to penalize introverts. Introverts are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with introverts, and I don't want them to feel like they're at a disadvantage in my game because they're not constantly screaming different combats and things like that. So I really think that's an important aspect of game mastering, to be honest. I really do. Or someone with a learning disability and inability to say things quickly, or stutter, or I don't think it's good. I'm passionate about that. I do wish my players appreciated that a little bit more, but they're fine to think however they want. I'm not frustrated that they don't. I wish people would take that more seriously because I'm so passionate about it. But that's a personal bugaboo. So instead, what I wish had happened, and this is my fault, because as a game master, there's got to be a field here where I'm going to buy some seeds from somebody, right? That's what I'm looking for. So these bags, I see one bag icon, which means there's one person in town. Leopold, do you sell me anything? Nope. Okay, go away, Leopold. I just need some selling stuff. So there's this concept of setting the stakes, which means if you ask for something extra, you are willing to offer some price for failure, some stake. So it's not just give me a bonus one because I said something cool. It's I want to try to do this thing for a bonus, but if I fail, if I don't do it right, I get that much meat, eggs, and animal feed. I don't need any of that, and there's no other crafter here, so I think I'm in trouble. All right, let me go to a different town. Which is great because it's going to be a long walk. I need to talk to somebody while I'm doing it. I don't know what this is. The heck with it. I'm just going to go see what that is, and we'll deal with the fallout. And if I starve to death on the way, then so be it. So what I should have done, setting the stakes, back to this idea. I have a player who wanted to do what I thought was a great action. I really did. I really liked it. And I'm not using inspiration in this game. And I wish I was at that moment, because I definitely would have given it. Or that's another table rule. I don't give inspiration. The player characters do. But because we're playing online and there's so many tools to manage, I'm trying to reduce the number of things players have to consider and manage. Because as you can see, I missed this opportunity to set the stakes, let the players set the stakes, because I was managing too many tools. And that's why I wasn't able to get to it. So back to what I'm trying to do there. What I wish I'd done, and this is one of my table rules, is this setting the stakes for an activity. So had they said instead, and what I wish I'd led the players through is said, yeah, you can jump off of stores, or the barbarian's shoulders to try to get up to their height, and I might have done something like a +1 to their attack, or let's say advantage to their attack even. Let's say advantage, because that's the easiest mechanic in D&D. But you have to make an acrobatics check, let's say DC 15, that's a good way to do it. Because if it's not 15, if it's so easy to do, why would you get a bonus? But if you fail, you fall prone, and you're prone for that round, and you miss your attack. That's a pretty big sacrifice. I don't know if that's exactly balanced, but what I can say is that that's a pretty big sacrifice. So had the player done that, I would have been more than happy for them to sort of get that advantage if they rolled it, because it sets some stakes for failure, and they're sacrificing something if they fail and gaining something if they succeed. I think that's a good mechanic if you can rope players into it. Games that do that exist already are games like Fate. They're games like Burning Wheel. So I'm not the person who invented that concept, but there's a lot of giants have gone before me. But you can apply that in D&D, and I wish I'd led the player through that opportunity to do it. But I just struggle with it because that player who I love, they're really great, but they struggle with things in game like rye grain. I need seeds, not grain. Oh, I should be selling unripe berries. Let me sell these berries because it'll get some weight off of me and I will get some money. Money. Sell all of it. Except, do I want to sell anything else? I don't think I do. Okay. Yes. So they've got a bunch of unripe berries. I've just sold it. I don't think I need to do anything else. I'll go now. Goodbye. I need to go to the actual town where I'm up here. I'll see what this is. I have no idea what that is. I'll just head east, and hopefully I'll run across them, and I'll pick more berries on the way, see if I can make more. Not gold, but it's silver. So anyway, I wish I'd done that. That would be great. Like if you want to, the other examples are similar. I use that fall down prone a lot, so maybe it's too much of a go-to. But other examples are like you want to use acrobatics to avoid an attack of opportunity if you're trying to move through someone out of someone's threat range. Like, hey, can I do some crazy flip to roll under them, and if I fail, they get an attack of opportunity with advantage, or I fall prone, or something like that. It's a good way to allow extra actions in the game without bending the rules every time, and without playing, without this idea that everything has to be a benefit. The core of it's a GM's job not to harsh the players mellow, but it's a GM's job to challenge the players, and it's a player's job to challenge the players. It's not. We're all here to create a challenging experience that we work through. We feel like we've accomplished something and we've earned. Right? To me, that's a core element of what you're trying to create with a game. And everybody should be on board with that. That should not be a controversial opinion. I learned a level of survival. Let's see, what do I do? I got one more survival. I think I'm learning, what did I do? Work in progress. Oh, I wonder if it's a work in progress. I wonder if you don't get these things until you get the whole thing. No, that can't be true. Sensing mushrooms, feathers, and herb in inspection mode. Actually, I'll show you what that looks like because I'm going to take this one because I think it's great. Which means inspection mode is alt, and it sort of gives you this, I don't know, Batman sense, whatever you want to call it, of plants around you, so you can get herbs, and like this is an herb. I would never realized it, and there's a stick over the top of it for some reason. Broadleaf plantain. It's actually got some nutritional value to eat, I think, right? If I remember that right. I know I'm running out of food already. So broadleaf plus 10 health. It's called health, so you eat some of that stuff because eat. E4. Nope. I guess my red bar is my health. So that's a healing potion, basically. I'm running out of food. I might be in trouble this season if I don't have enough food with me. Well, we'll have to see how that goes. That's the risk of survival games. But this is an example where video games depart. Like, at least in our role-playing game, I could sit down with the game master and say, well, what are the rules? How am I surviving here? And if they come back with, well, you don't, then that's a problem. All right, where's this guy I'm supposed to buy stuff off of? Oh, it's a lady. And that's sexist. I shouldn't have assumed it was a man. And what do they sell? They sell clothing. Cool. Nothing. I have flax grain. I could grow flax, but I want carrots because I want to be able to make stuff. Or onions. That might be good too. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for carrots, or does it tell me what season I have to plant these in, by the way? Talk. Let me show you your wares. Flax grain, or flax. Oh, I thought I had seeds. They don't. Flax. Crafting flax grain and flax stock for linen. Flax grain. I thought I saw seeds. No. Okay, none of that is something I need. Okay. You disappoint me greatly, Madame. Madame, I said good day. I said good day, sir. All right, I'll go to the next town. Damn it. Just doing a lot of wandering now. I hope somebody has something I need. So, yeah, this is Baranica. Here we go. Yeah, that place. See if I can find more. Yeah, more berries along the way. Sell more. Earn more duckies to buy my poop with. Poop, very important for the farming. Boy, I hope when I get back, my farming plot is still fertile. I hope I didn't just waste all that, because that's going to be very frustrating. Yeah, I'm going to have to follow that little exclamation point, because I'm sure that'll take me where I need to go. I am going to drink from this river. Low. So, what was I saying just before? Oh yeah, so they're setting the stake. So I think that's a great thing to do. But what I can tell you is it's hard for me to manage the virtual tabletop. I also run Sirenscape during my games, which really is great. Runs very well over Zoom. But I'm managing the different music that's coming up. I'm chatting with people back and forth. We have Zoom going, and I'm pretty much maxed out with all, of course, then there's running the actual game, the encounters, the NPCs. So, I'm pretty well maxed out by little Lamey, with everything I have to do. And I find it hard to find capacity to add more management to the game for me. So, there lies a problem for me. So anyway, I wish I had been able to realized my opportunity there and brought the players through it. But what I needed out of that was, if I bring them, there's no salesman here, by the way. That's why I'm just walking through this town. There's nobody to buy my grain from. So I'm going to have to go. I know this town down here, this one I started in, has a bunch of seeds. So I'll go to this one, and then I'll try to figure out as best I can. Yeah, just head south and go, again, more berries, more gold, more silver to collect. But so what in a perfect situation, the players would be the ones coming up with offering those stakes, offering those options, like, hey Scott, I want to jump off of the shoulders of store and try to get on higher ground than above them. I want to see if I can get advantage on this attack, and I might have had them roll, and I want to roll acrobatics, and if I fail, something happens. I miss my attack this turn. Yeah, that might have been enough. Or something, I fall prone, or whatever they can offer. And if I didn't think it was enough, I could offer them an alternative. If I thought it was too much, I can offer an alternative. It really just go back and forth in that way. Would be great. It would be really effective in game. And I covered this, and I talked a little bit earlier about the idea of a pitch of the game when I covered table rules, because that's how this whole random ramble started. I covered all that in the pitches, and I tried to explain what it was, but it just didn't sink in. And something like that, it's a new play style, it's a new sort of play paradigm for a lot of these players, and it's not something what they would have, maple branches. It's not something they would have keyed into yet, and it's hard for them to habituate it to, because like my players vary strongly in terms of their understanding of the game, like to the point that last session one of my players was struggling with what the difference between strength and hit point was, which, to be honest, I was a little stunned by. Like, how do you not know that? But I don't think that was the case. I think they were trying to manage the virtual tabletop, and they were trying to manage the tools and the Zoom and all that stuff. And I start losing hit points if I need to eat something, which I'm going to do right now. Go to inventory. What do I have to eat? I don't have a whole lot. I'm gonna just eat all this meat. Eat my mushrooms. Got to get a lot up here if I can. Yeah, I've got a good bit of hunger built back up, which is good. So yeah, so this player, I think, who's struggling with those things, again, I don't think it's that they don't know the difference between hit points and strength. I think it was that they got flustered by the tools, and you can see sometimes they're trying to get their audio managed, and they're trying to do the virtual tabletop, and they're paying attention to different things. And I just said I have that same problem. That's why I couldn't include, lead the players through that. So obviously, it's very reasonable that they are struggling with a similar problem. So given all the things we're doing, it's hard to bring that out. And it's easier to do that at a table where you have a face-to-face negotiation. That's something that virtual tabletops make hard, because that's almost like it's a meta type of role playing. Like you're all sitting there to craft a narrative about how the combat goes in some cool way. It is a form of role playing, because your character is choosing their style of fighting and their tactics, and they're choosing how brave and how brash they might be in combat. And that's an element of role playing, and a perfectly valid one. But how far am I from this town? Oh my God, everything's so far away. Yeah. So I just find it hard. But if I could do it, I do intend to sort of walk players through it. I think it was an opportune time, because you can tell the players wanted more out of that action. So I'm going to explain to them again this idea of stakes and things like that. So one of the ways that I try to key myself to remember things as a GM is that I put up sticky notes on my monitor. So that's what I think I'm just going to do next time. I put sticky notes, a little post-it note up there with remember to set the stakes, or something I can see that'll prompt me during the session to remember to do these sort of great things that have value in the game that I might otherwise forget. I'm open the window a little bit here. I have my door closed for my wife, and it's a little cold, or a little warm in here. So yeah, so I find that sticky note element plus a bunch of other things help me through planning for what I might need to do for working through a game. And that setting the stakes really would make a difference. So having just had the players say, geez, I would really like this, it allows me to sit back with them and say, okay, this is how you can do that. They've expressed an interest in it, and put it back on them to rye grain. So let me see about grain. What I'm looking for here in the game is, does it tell me what season it should be planted in? Crafting and cooking resources can be crafted or crafted on threshing floor in the barn, or bought. It can be sown in the autumn and harvested in the spring. So that's an autumn plant. I need something I can plant in summer, because tomorrow morning I think it's going to be summer. Spring and harvested in the summer, that's not good. Carrot seed, hopefully. Carrot planted in the spring and harvested in the autumn. So if I wait till autumn, which will be 3 more days, I will have a bunch of carrots. Let me see if I can buy, or wheat grain. Wheat grain, but it can be sown in the spring and harvested in the autumn as well. You know, I don't care about wheat right now. I think carrots are probably going to be what it is for me. So let me see if I can buy, carrot seeds are 10 per. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Unripe berries, let me sell all of those. So I want to what did I just do? Did I drop? Oh no, they disappeared. Oh, they didn't disappear. I bet you I just filtered them out. All right, unripe berries, sell, and let me sell all of them except. And then go to carrot seed. I think I only need 4. Buy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Accept. Be going now. 4 goodbyes. Maybe I should buy more now I'm here. 8. Fertilizer. Crap. I need a bag. Hopefully she has a bag. I don't remember if she had one or not. Nope. All right. I need a bag, and I need to be able to put my, I guess whatever you last put in it is what it has become. So it's, let me see if I can unequip this. Simple bag, F. See if I can re-equip it. F. Doing 8. And my seeds, see if I can equip the seeds maybe. Carrot seeds, drop, so fertilizer. See, so I guess once it's a type of bag, it's a bag. R. Change bag mode. There we go. Rye. Oh, there we go. Good. So I can change the bag mode that I'm looking for. Beet, onion, cabbage, carrot, 5. I can put up to 5 in there. So I've got, I just got 5 of them. That's what that means. All right. If I had another bag, I would go and buy onions to plant in the autumn. So I know I definitely want to plant onions in autumn because I plant carrots till onions come up, and we'll see if I even have to do crop rotation. I have no idea. Dude. And I need to walk through the night back to my house, which is going to be annoying, but I don't see any other way. Actually, I could probably sleep in this village, which is what I'm going to do. All right. And then collect berries on the way back. I think they're going to be ripe berries so I can eat them and they have some food value. And I hope it's good food value because I'm going to be in trouble if I don't have anything to eat until autumn. All right. So back to that, setting the stakes and how to do it. Yeah, so I think that's sort of how I would go about that. I want to do a whole live stream. I might even do a whole live stream on setting the stakes with lots more examples coming up. I think that actually might be really useful this Sunday. So if I don't know who's in this stream. So hello, thank you for being here. But if you've caught streams before, this is an ad hoc stream. I just feel like it. I feel like streaming right now, so I'm doing that. I need to find an open bed if I can. Yeah, right here. Oh, can I sleep on these beds? I can't. Crap, I have to go back home. Oh no. Okay. All right. I got a lot of walking ahead of me. So I stream normally on Saturdays. I do a D&D talk stream and I do a game prep stream. And so how I decide what the topic is every week I have a weekly campaign that I'm running online right now for Rime and the Frostmaiden. There's some element that I need to put together for that next session, and there's always some element that I want to introduce into the game or develop further because I can never leave good enough alone, right? I always like to tinker and put a lot of thought into stuff. So this Saturday since we dealt with these cool actions last time and players expressed a desire to get more of these cool actions, I'm going to talk about a way to include opportunities to do that next time. And actually, I think the way it's going to be is just create some space to talk with the players in chat and then maybe before the game about reiterating setting the stakes, what they may or may not be able to do. Put up this post-it for me to remind myself to talk to the players about what options are available for them to do cool, just dope shit, basically. So I think that's the way I'm going to make that stream on this Saturday about setting the stakes and how to include that in the game. And then talk through a lot of what I just talked through here about I missed my opportunities, the GM, to set the stage there and move forward. So, and then prepare for my session because I have a pretty light session prep this week. The last stream I did full session prep for was the stream before last because I didn't have a session last. I had a session last night, but the session the week previous we didn't have because it was Thanksgiving week. And people were out of town and there's some things going on. So the prep I had done in the stream before, that was still valid. I didn't need to add more stuff. If you followed that stream, all the stuff I prepared in that stream turned out great. Honestly, it was way better than I thought it would be. Much more exciting. The harpies encounter that I prepared there worked out really super well. I did a bunch of weeks of prepping around game balance around this frost giant skeleton that appears there. I think that's going to come really very handy because we left off last session with the players coming into this location, discovering this frost giant skeleton that freed itself from the ice that it was sort of frozen in and began to start a fight with the players. So they have that's going to be a really deadly fight too. So yeah, I don't have a lot of prep to do because I've only burned up about half of the content that I had prepped for. So I've got more content than I need. So I'll prepare a little ahead of time. I need to do a little prep for sort of what comes after this session because I try to run it sandboxy. So all I can do is throw out backstory and then let the players do what they do in the world, and the backstory plays out. The world sort of runs on its own in the background. So the simulation runs in the background, as people like to say, and where do the players and the world intersect, and that's where the adventure happens. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing. So that's what I'll be doing this Saturday on the stream. I think it'll be pretty interesting, especially that stakes thing, because I need to write a million things, and instead I'm sitting here playing a game, which is why some of this stuff doesn't get written. But you know, I'll write up a small one pager on setting the stakes. I think I want to do that for D&D rather than just say this is a neat thing they do in Burning Wheel or a neat thing they do in Fate. Some of that write up needs some more thought, on my opinion, on my side, because I need to add cues, more cues for the players. I'm pretty good at that. That's something I already include. I do a lot of environmental stuff about, you know, having falling objects in the environment, slippery terrain, difficult terrain to get around. Attacks of opportunities are common if they invoke them, and just all, you know, tactical positioning by the enemy. All these things, I do a lot of that in game. So the raw material that I need, things for environmental factors that players want to overcome, descriptive elements of the set of the well, not really setting, because the setting is the world, but descriptive elements of the encounter location that players can use for like swinging from chandeliers or getting around cluttered environments. All of that is the raw material that you use to create these sort of heroic leaps of faith or actions or something that you're trying to get more out of. And I just need to take that last step of getting players to internalize, oh, I can get myself more of a bonus if I offer the GM something for failure. I mean, I think that concept at its core is something players can fairly easily accept. Oh, do I have a rabbit? Rabbit trap. Do I have a rabbit? Collect. Yes. Oh, I got a rabbit. Good. So rabbits do come here. I need to activate my rabbit trap. That's good. That's what I like to hear. I'm going to cook this rabbit meat. Light a fire. Oh, this carrot. You do not plant it in spring, by the way. I have got this plow field. Yes, I'm going to carrot. I hope I don't have to water it, because if I have to water it, I'm really screwed. Carrot. I'm going to have me some carrots. I'm probably going to have some rabbits. I haven't built a fence around this thing, so I wonder if that's going to be a problem for me. I'm going to sleep, build the fence tomorrow, and let the whole thing come. Oh, I automatically slept. I didn't choose to sleep. Complete some quests for your neighbors, 1 to 3, and successful flirting. You flirt in this game? Okay, sure, why not? All right, so yeah, I've got some carrots out there. I'm going to carry this carrot seed bag around with me because it would be good. Well, actually, I don't need to. I'm going to store it. So I'll keep my bag. My meat. Oh, conditions 50% just going through the night. That's not good. So I'll cook it this next morning. I have 37 sticks. I'm going to need more sticks because I bet you I'm going to need sticks to set up this tent that I want. How do I get all of them? E, F for accept. Let's see what I can do to cook this meat first. Oh no, my fire is gone. Build another fire to cook the meat on. Something, I completed something. I don't know what that is. Maybe survival? Cook meats. Cook up this meat, have something to eat today. All right. I don't know how, but I'm up to 100% on hunger. That's cool. Yeah, carrots are growing. I know it said in autumn, so I believe I'm in the middle of spring, right? So P for, or no, K for knowledge, not P. Did I level up something? Technology. I, resource storage, shovel. What is that? Wooden tool for digging clay. Sure, I know that. It can be crafted in a workshop and smithy. So I have to be able to craft a workshop or smithy. So 50 points. I think this means I've got something available to me. So I don't know actually know what any of this is. Food storage, 5 points. Do I spend these points? Select building, F. Not enough technology. Aha, F, buy scheme for 50. Oh, so I have to spend coins. Thank God I had been picking all those berries. Ooh. Hunting lodge, workshop. What can I do with the workshop? I don't think I have any of these available to me. Not enough technology. Hunting lodge, not enough of that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I was going to build a fence because I'm making the assumption that little rabbits going to nibble, nibble, nibble at my field if I don't. So let's see what we got. Crafting. Other. Maybe it's under other. Yep. Fences. No fences are unlocked. I need technology scheme to unlock even simple stick fence. So, yeah, I guess it's gonna have to. We're gonna have to deal with those. Put some traps out here, and if the rabbits come a calling, I'm gonna eat them. I'm gonna eat them so much. Okay, so the trees have not, or have the trees grown back? Yes, trees have not grown back. I think they'll grow back at the beginning of next calendar year. I need to complete some quests for neighbors. So. Let's go back to that original town. I'll gather some berries on the way if I can. I need to look for some food if I can. I'm in pretty good shape. Oh, I should put those sticks back. I don't need the weight on me for those sticks. I don't need like 200 sticks with me. I am going to go leave this rabbit trap where it's at. And if I'm going to take this journey, actually I think what I'm going to do... What do I need for a rabbit trap? I'm going to... Oh, I have a limit. I can only have one. I was going to leave a bunch of rabbit traps along the way if I'm going to go ferrying back and forth along this route. Looks like I would have to... Looked like it would be advantageous to have multiple rabbit traps, but I guess for some ungodly reason, I'm unable to have a bunch of them. All right, price, weight. Coins are weightless. That's good to know. Put them in there. Except I can always get more of those things. So I think I'm gonna put my hoe in there because what's and this essentially has a weight of 2 kilograms. Hoe is in there. Stone axe I'll probably keep, as well as the knife. Simple bag. Yeah, nothing else weighs a whole lot. So I'm gonna fur for some reason. I don't think I need that right now either. Roasted meat is honing on. So roasted meat lasts a while. That's good. That is good to know. I'm going to put away my carrot seeds too. I don't think I need carrot seeds. I think I already have, right? Carrot seeds are 100%. I do want to keep an eye on that because I want to see if seeds degrade. If they don't, I wonder if I can buy them in bulk, which would be sort of nice. And if I can, I'm going to buy a bunch of onion seeds because I know I can plant those in winter. So I'll pick up a couple of sticks along the way. For some reason, I'm still holding that bag in my hand. I unequipped that bag. Pick up a couple of the sticks just to have them and keep going along the way. So, yeah, so that's where I'm at with D&D. It's been a good time. I'm yearning for something deeper and more involved, though, like have players engaging more with the world. I'm going to run out this Frostmaiden campaign. I like Rime of the Frostmaiden. I like the way it's going. That's going to last a while more. I think we're about a third of the way through in my estimation. And we've been playing for about a little over 2 months. So September, October, November, we're into December now. Yeah, so about 2.5 months. So if we're a third of the way through, that puts us at about an 8-month campaign. So we've got a good way to go, assuming the pace stays and things like that, which I think it will. I think tactically, this is important. I don't see this group converting to a face-to-face group because they're in my hometown. One of my tactics was do online games for people in my community, so I can get to know players a little bit better to bring them all together for a face-to-face game when the pandemic lifts. Because I prefer face-to-face games like everybody else, but I don't think these players. I mean, they're sort of all over. They have a difficulty committing to things. They're parents, so they have, understandably a hard time committing to travel, and it's a higher bar to just get around to these places. So where I like them, actually, I would enjoy playing with them. I'm not sure I see them as the face-to-face group that we would hope for. So what I want to do for the current campaign, I kind of want to time it. When people do start going out together, everyone's probably going to be distracted. It's probably going to be really hard, as it should be, to find people for an online game because people will be tired. They're sick, or everybody's sick. I'm sick of being online, and I like being online. So it's going to be really hard to get people to sit down for an online game. So if I haven't wrapped the campaign up by then, I would expect it's going to fall apart. So what I want to do here is kind of time the campaign to wrap up March or so of next year, because I think that will be about the time that I think people will start getting out a little bit more, especially people who are younger. I think they're already going out as it is, but once they have some plausible deniability of a vaccine, I think they're just going to go out in droves, and that's just going to happen. So, which is really harsh, because my wife works in the nonprofit area. So stay home for this reason. My wife works in the nonprofit area. I know several nurses. They find it so difficult for all of these people in vulnerable populations who are really, they're stuck in these locations. All these care workers, these social workers, they have to, quarantine from their family. It's incredibly disruptive whenever they encounter a COVID scare, or if they get it, God forbid. And and it's really hard. It's hard for them to watch people going out and doing all that. And this is not a political statement, by the way. This had nothing to do with politics. I'm not talking about political parties or candidates or any of that. I'm just saying that safety measures necessary to keep people safe is, when people don't follow them, it really is a punch in the gut for people who are out there trying to actively care for vulnerable populations. So anyway, for what it's worth, for the couple people watching, if that hits home with you, you're probably taking it serious already, so I'm probably preaching to the choir. But I want to say that. Well, yeah, the berries are even, they were green last time, so let's see what they get. The berries this time are, I got 7 berries. That's quite a bit. 1 water and 1 water and half of food. That is not a lot, but I get a lot of berries. So actually, I think I'm really gonna pick a lot of berries here, because it's a good source. I run out of food quickly, and feeding myself in this first year is probably gonna be the most difficult thing. My goal is to get through. If I can get in this stream through a year, that would be great. I don't know that that's gonna happen, because it's taken. I've already been doing this for 2 hours. We'll see. I'll be up for a little stream tonight, though. It's at 10 o'clock here on Eastern time. So yeah, 10's a little rough for me. 11 would be rough, but let's see how far I can get just in a little bit of time. Let's see if I can at least get a crop up. Maybe I can get to autumn. The first day of summer. So yeah, so timing of that campaign. I think, I'm looking at timing it so that it's wrapping up or climaxing enough to keep bringing people in, and and seeing where it goes from there. And then seeing, I want to myself have a face-to-face game. So somewhere, I do think after that March period, it probably will be reasonably safe for people to start getting together again. I'm predicting, so who knows? But I would like to do that and get a good face-to-face group going. And at that time, with all these rules that I'm talking about, I'm really yearning to do something much more homebrew-driven, something not a published campaign, but get back to doing my own campaigns, which I have a long history of doing. I'd like to do that, continue to do that here, and bringing like these survival rules that I spent an hour talking about, and these sort of land nav rules and these party-based engagements with extended play into much more to the forefront, and testing these rules out and publishing some of these rules. And I just, if I can recruit a good set of people who would be into that, again, that what I talked about before too, about that pitch part, I think it could be a lot of fun. I think we could have a lot of fun, but we'll see how it goes. Again, I'll be publishing those a little bit online and get some feedback, but we will see. I know I'm really going to love being able to get out and see people and have a face-to-face game again. There's nothing like actual play. There's nothing really that can replace it. I mean, online playing is okay. It is a lower bar. It's easier to see one another. It's easier to get started. But you just lose so much in that interaction of the group, in that ability to talk with one another and have meaningful exchanges. That I think, just like everybody, it's always saddening to me to lose out on that experience. And for people trying to get into gaming, I know, boy, that's hard. And who knows what's going to happen to gaming? Like, maybe people want to party so much that they're just over D&D. Maybe the golden age of D&D will pass once when pandemic left. I certainly hope not. And what I'm hoping instead happens is that D&D is a great opportunity to get together with friends, and I hope people see that too. I really do. I hope they I hope they use that opportunity to sort of make new friends as a reason to get together, as a reason to to bond with each other and form new friendships, and just everything that gaming is good at that video gaming isn't necessarily the best fit for. I hope they do that. All right, buddy, can I help you with something? Do I have any seeds with you? Make a little garden for myself, blah, blah, blah. I'll let you know if I have any to spare. What is he trying to do here? So, okay. I need to help somebody. A little garden. I think Jay. Ulgo storyline. What is that? Talk to Ulghost. Okay. Little garden. I need 2 cabbage seeds and one beetroot seed. Okay. 2 cabbage and 1 beetroot. I don't know where to get that. I know I have to go to merchants for this kind of thing, but let's see if this dude has something. I don't need chat. I need grain. I'm one of those grumpy neighbors who just wants to talk business all the time. Don't want to talk with you. Oh, get out of the way. Oh, this must be a tavern. Sweet. All right. This is a tavern person. Give me your wares. I need cabbage and I forget the other thing. It doesn't matter. They don't seem to have any. Although they do have salt. Salt is quite pricey at 20 per. I do know I can come back here and get food though. That's good. What's flatbread? Flatbread is 40 food, 5 health. Rural. 20 food. Meat and gravy, 25 food. Yeah, so getting into cooking and getting these crops that I just planted, getting them moving, I think is going to be really critical to survival in this game. All right, let's see if this person has cabbages. I bet you it's arranged so all these quests require resources from other towns, in which case I'm just not going to be fulfilling that quest. What do you got? Show me your wares. Carrot seed. Oh, I already been to this lady. Rye and grain. Don't need that. Thank you for your support. I have a quest here, but I don't know where it's at. Alright, I need another bag. There's a person up here who sells some stuff. And this is only the third. This is the third person. Let me see how my berries are doing. Do they degrade? No, they're 100% right now. And they're. I'm gonna eat like some. Get my health up. Then give me some water. If cows produce manure. Was that stealing? If I steal manure? Oh, do. Let me show you egg, meat, fertilizer. Nope, he doesn't do anything for me either. Oh no. This dude needs a quest. What do you need? Hi. I don't know what just happened. Elwyn's story. What does he need? I'm clicking to Elwyn's story. I meant Elwyn. Deliver Elwyn 1 X stick. So I have 3 sticks. Not a problem. Elwyn, sticks. I got aplenty, buddy. He's showing me how to make a scythe. Okay. Elwyn's story is wait for the next day. And he's supposed to give me a scythe. Okay. But that does not count as finished. That is a bummer. I don't have anything to do except wait. So, oh, this guy's a quest for me. Can I help you with something? Sure, I'll hunt them down. What is he? Recently, I was up and became a balance of the area. Can get rid of them. Sure, I'll hunt these animals down. That animal that I have to hunt down is rabbits, I'm guessing. Yes, hunt 2 rabbits. That's fine. I was going to give me a wooden spear. Ooh. I'm going to get up here. I'll do the rabbit quest. And actually, since I'm probably going to have to go to a different town to find these cabbage seeds, I'm going to go across the river down here. So I'm going to go to this bridge, see if I spot some rabbits, and go with it from there. So inventory, get my spear ready. I know I still have a spear. Make sure that it's in slot 5 already. I'll get my spear out. If I see a rabbit, I'm going to do something terrible. Something Peter would ban me for if I see me a rabbit. So yeah, D&D again. That's what I'm looking for in terms of getting a game back together, doing something meaningful with a group again, and getting sort of face to face, hoping that they'll enjoy that piece of strategizing. But again, sort of looping back to the early parts of what I was talking about here, the critical part of defining rules for survival. Is there something I just saw up there? No, I don't think so. I'm trying to look out for rabbits. Where are you wascally rabbits? I got to get you. All right, so the sort of the key to this is getting one, buy-in from the other players in a group, in a potential group, and two, giving them something to do. There's a rabbit right there. Okay. Do I sneak up on him? I don't know how to hunt rabbits in this game. They seem to have... Oh, there he goes. All right, buddy. Do once above you. Oh, right in the neck. Ha ha. Okay, good. Yeah, so... ooh, that's gruesome. Rabbit. Skin the rabbit. So one is getting them in on the premise of the survival elements that we might use, or... okay, it's still good. Or basically anything in the world that would get them to buy into that. And then two is giving something for everybody in the group to do, especially if they can help whether that's individual tasks, something they can rally around in terms of helping each other. I think that's critical for these extended mechanics. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with Rangers to here. I think the way that I think was elegantly handled with the rules and Adventures in Middle Earth is that Rangers are overqualified for any one of a couple of areas, but they can't do them all. They have to focus on either being the guide or the there's the bridge I want to cross, or focus on being the scout, or the guard, or whatever the positions are, but they can't do them all. So unless you had a party full of Rangers, it doesn't become an automatic win button, and worse, it just doesn't become this, okay, we can no longer do content related to survival because we have a Ranger in the group or a Druid in the group. I mean, it just doesn't become this automatic thing. So that's really critical for it's just something I'm going to work out over time and figure out how to include it meaningfully in the game. And I really do hope that next session will be... I don't know if I'm going to do my own world. Sometimes I can bite off more than I can chew. So I have done my own settings before. I'm interested in possibly doing that again. I used Eberron at my last face-to-face setting. I'll probably use it again. I like Eberron. I think it's really good, which might be ironic because I just made a post about what I call problematic areas of Eberron. I don't consider them too problematic. I mean, you want to think... when I say problematic, I mean there's just things you want to think through about how they fit into the world. So it's almost as much as home brewing. And there are things that don't seem logical on the face of them. It's easy enough to change as a GM. You just say, I'm going to, they just work differently in my world. And just do that. But the debate I'm always constantly having with Eberron is, if the extent I have to do that is equivalent to me writing my own game world anyway, why wouldn't I just write my own game world? I think the answer is it's not, because it's not to that extent, but that's an internal debate I have most of the time. And if you do have to be economic. I have to concentrate on what's going to get me the most bang for the buck and actually get a rule done, especially if I'm looking at publishing these as supplements. So I think I'm going to do something like Eberron, focus on writing rules for survival, writing the setting of Vatharond, which is the City of Madness. I talked about that a bit in the stream this weekend. I'll continue, especially as I get to actually writing it. Some of these streams are going to convert over to game prep and sort of writing these supplements themselves, like active ideating through these supplements and what I want out of them. I need to find these merchants so I can... Are you a merchant? No. This person's a merchant. One of these people. Lady, hi, show me your wares. I need cabbages and I need something else. So you got fertilizer. That is useless to me. This person hopefully has cabbages and beetroot. That's it. 2 cabbages, 1 beetroot. 2 cabbage, 1 beet. Show me your wares. Poopy. All right. So they must just spread out across all these villages at different different wares, and you just can't find them all. That's disappointing. I have to say, disappointing. I don't know where I'm going to find this beetroot because I haven't seen anything yet that has that kind of thing. I know there's a couple of villages I'm missing. There's one up here. I was up here earlier though. I didn't see anything. I haven't gone to this. Well, I hope I don't have to go all the way over there. But that's the way I'm going to do it. I guess that's what I'm doing. Let me get some water. See how my stuff is doing. Play out the day. If I can get another rabbit along the way, that would be great. Circle back around through all these woods and see if I can spot a rabbit to finish out that rabbit quest. Have to look for movement. The rabbits kind of flitter around up here. But yeah, what I was just saying about all those concerns and how I'm going to do it, that's in my head how this whole thing is built up. I find it really useful to think through these elements, these game elements, and then writing is a bit of the thinking part is where it starts. Writing is hard, obviously, but and it has its own challenges. But my challenges there tend to be around editing. I mean, getting down what it is you want to write about is where I need to start. That's how my process works best. Of course, there's a lot of advantage to just writing. Putting all that aside, and you don't need the entire thing constructed. Oh, I missed the rabbit. I don't know where it went. Maybe they despawn once they get further enough away. That's disappointing. That having a solid idea and then just structuring it the way that seemed to work well for me is I think through what I want, the elements that I want. I write the outline. I begin to fill the outline in as time goes on. I thought I saw a rabbit, and then that's how I get things written. So this thinking through these roles, I've got an outline document actually already built with that. I'm still thinking through how the whole thing works. My big concern about the survival rules and the sort of party roles to manage exhaustion I talked about way earlier is that I don't have enough roles to go around. Not that create meaningful play anyway. I don't want to just create busy work for players, and I don't want to create sort of convoluted tasks, and I don't want to create contrived stuff to do that feels like it's just busy work. But I want to give people a role that they feel like, oh, I'm benefiting my party. But I don't know I can do that meaningfully. At least. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to adapt the rules straight from Middle-earth, Adventures in Middle-earth, if that's the case, because they're pretty well thought out. But if I do that, I have to be careful about publishing it. I mean, if I rewrite it, I don't want to be reprinting something from somebody else's game. So where the line between inspired by is and stealing from, I certainly don't want to even play at that line. I want to have something. I want to have a unique contribution, a unique take, enough to justify a different set of published rules. I don't want to just republish somebody else's game. And if I can't feel like I'm, one, creating something meaningful and has broad applicability to all the players at a table, and two, is unique and not just me, skimming off somebody else's well. If I don't feel like I can hit those two elements, I don't think I would do it. I couldn't. It's not something I'd be interested in. And maybe I'm overthinking that, but that's how I am. That's how I do it. And I have a right to my point of view. Had some more berries there I could have gotten, but I don't really care. It's going to become berry picking the role-playing game. The obvious downside to games like this is the tediousness of the whole thing. Walking around here, looking for a rabbit with my spear. Don't see one. Find myself annoyed by that. I think I'm 2 days. First day of summer? 2 days of summer? Yes, I had to go all the way back to my house to sleep. So I believe this is the second day of summer. I think. Why are you just standing outside the gates, bro? Are you anything? Alwyn? No, doesn't seem like it. I'm going to go up here, see if I can get a rabbit while it's still light enough to do that. To finish off that quest and then head home and sleep. For some reason, my food bar got entirely reset when I slept. I don't know why that is. I wonder if it has something to do with like my house and having food on me when I go to sleep. I have no idea. You know, if it gets late enough, I might head back and just see if I have a rabbit in that trap, and that would give me 2 rabbits to satisfy the quest that I need. I think that actually that is what I'm going to do, since it's going to be boring enough to stumble back across the wilderness to get to where I'm going. Can I run? Yes, I can run, but I bet you that burns through food and water. So yeah, probably not the best strategy in the world. No, I'm too far away to really do anything meaningful, so I'm just going to head in and sleep for the night. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with survival, extended rules, building things. You know, I think it could be worth, if I do the stat block of wilderness in a unique way. The way I've seen stat blocks for terrain done before wouldn't be anything like what I would do. That would be certainly unique. So if I had like stat blocks for terrain, survival challenges, environmental challenges, put in rules for recovery of hit dice, rules for mitigating around levels of exhaustion. I mean, I feel like that actually is a good 20-page supplement, something I think people out there might be interested in, who are interested in this kind of play. One of the things that always occurs to, you know, I'll endlessly debate things, as you can see, because I've just spent the last 2.5 hours, or 2 hours and almost 2.5 hours talking about this, is you know, if you need to add all these rules, if you need to add, to like transform the game so fundamentally, what's the point? Like, what am I trying to turn D&D into a fundamentally different game? And if so, you know, why am I bothering? What am I getting out of this? I think that's a valid question to ask. I don't know the answer to that. I feel like just adding survival rules, terrain rules, things, I don't feel like that's significantly transforming the game. I will say I do think that there's an argument to be made for that being a bridge too far when it comes to lingering injuries. I've seen a couple of DMs publish rules for lingering injuries for D&D. I think that has... First of all, I've never seen a set of rules I thought added anything to the game. They try to get simulationist about it, right? They're trying to simulate specific injuries, a broken leg or a lost eye, or, you know, scar, and these kinds of things. And like a scar might be cool because that's flavor, but getting into specific injuries seems to be odd, because D&D combat isn't a simulator. It's not intended to be, you know, to tell you what, like when you roll to hit, it's not supposed to reflect a single weapon hit or a single attack. It's actually supposed to represent the 6 seconds of combat, like how you furiously went back and forth with sword blows or axe blows or whatever, and you're firing and maneuvering. And what was the culmination of all that flurry of activity at the end of 6 seconds? Did it culminate in you wounding your opponent, taking wounds, however that worked out? But that's what the intention of a combat round is in D&D. So when you try to turn it into something else, when you try to say, oh, now I'm tracking, you know, like stab by stab or wound by wound, what D&D is, you're fundamentally trying to turn it, in my opinion, into a different game. That's not what D&D does. I have thought about an extended wound system. I'm probably not going to do that justice right now, but I have thought about like something akin to exhaustion levels, but they're sort of trauma levels instead, where maybe one level brings along disadvantages on stat rolls, maybe another level brings disadvantages on saves, another level brings disadvantage on attacks, and maybe you build up. But I think there's the argument against that. Where am I going? Going north? I'm going south. I just need to go straight west. The reason not to do that is that what I mentioned earlier about the death spiral. Once you start adding disadvantages to a lot of things, you're really telling players they can't do stuff. And most of them are going to rest until that disappears anyway, or use lesser restoration or any number of the abilities that occur in D&D that lets them, basically wipe out disadvantage in the game. So is it why, if you can do that, why would you have it in the game in the first place? I think that was driving a driver behind why they did not include that in D&D in the first place. And the other is, are you creating a death spiral that once you start failing, you're just going to make them fail even more? And how does that mucks with balance of encounters? Like you might have 4 chained encounters in a dungeon, and that works as long as you're not, other than hit points, you're not reducing your effectiveness. There's some kind of beastie in the darkness there. You're not reducing your effectiveness. You're just you're just losing hit points. But instead, if you shift it to a paradigm of them losing hit points and getting less effective as they go combat encounter to combat encounter, then balance becomes incredibly difficult to achieve between encounters because you don't know what wound level they might be at from encounter to encounter. So you really have to either be prepared to let the players die or modify the challenge rating of the encounters dynamically as they encounter them. And is that a bridge too far? Like, does anybody care enough about to do that kind of level of? Does it add to the game? Collect the rabbit trap. Thank you, rabbit. Meat and fur, and I'm going to activate that. I'm going to see if I can start this fire and cook that meat. And go to bed. Cooking. Tap once. Meats. I should have checked the condition before I did that because I've been walking around with this meat for a little while. It might be a little turnt. I'm going to eat this meat. Matter of fact, I am going to roasted meat. I'm going to eat 1 roasted meat. And I'm going to get some water. I have a theory I want to check. If I have eaten meat and drink water and I sleep, is that what made me come to full hunger when I wake back up? Is like going to sleep with meat and hydrated. Does that give you something? I'll see if it maybe it says it right on the on the item, but I haven't looked. My oat roll is degrading. So my mushrooms. Get rid of my mushroom. Oat roll, I might need to do something. Meat is restore a bigger amount of food than raw meat, but can be roasted on a campfire. And it doesn't say anything about sleeping. So, yeah, I'll just go over here and I'll sleep, and I'll see if it puts me up to full health. Sleep. All right. Where can I find out what season it is? It's still summer, I think. Let me check on my carrots. All right, little rabbits have not eaten my carrots. That's good. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Let me check on that. And I did not gain any hunger, so I don't know what happened there, to be honest. Let me eat all the food that I have because I'm going to need it. I have a crap load of berries, and they're still at 100%, so they look like they last. That's good. Boo, 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 boo. I have several days if they're... Oh boy, that's going to take a while. Is there a way to eat a bunch of them? Can I eat a bunch of No, I'm just going to eat. I have to eat it like this and just fat finger this button. I'll bring it down to about 100. That should be 100 eaten. Hopefully that'll give me at least 50% of my eating time. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about for how to modify the game and what I want to do in the future. This upcoming year. And I want to work out all this design online. It's really my, I almost got full tummy on berries. That's a lot of berries. All right, I think for me, I'm going to wrap up this session here. I have meat on me. I'm going to see if I can cook anything with these berries, by the way. No. Soup, beetroot meat, carrot meat. 3 carrots and a salted meat will give me a stew. Oh, I have 2 different stews. Technology and scheme is not unlocked. So I couldn't cook it if I wanted to. Yeah, that's fair enough. All right. I am going to wrap up this stream here tonight. I appreciate it if you join me. Thank you so much for hanging out. Again, this is just an ad hoc stream. I'm doing something for funsies. I'm just pontificating about D&D. If you join me, I hope you found it somewhat useful if you're looking at this a little bit later. If you have found the stream and you liked any part of it, it would really help me out, and I would really appreciate it if you would give this channel a follow, a like, a thumbs up, hit the bell, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter. I'm optional rule there. Do all of the social media things. It would really help me out. I really appreciate it. I hope you'll join in the conversation too. So post some comments down on the tavern wall that you see down there. I would love to hear what you think of. Please share this video if you think it's useful. Clip it if you're over on Twitter and you think there was some useful advice that came out in any part of this. Go ahead and write it. Make a clip of it. That's a great way to sort of pull out of this 2.5 hour diatribe that I just did if you thought anything was particularly useful. And I enjoyed it. I'll be doing more of these over time. Again, it'll always be ad hoc. My regular schedule is Saturdays at noon on noon Eastern time to talk about D&D and D&D session prep. I'll be releasing content on the DMs Guild and also online over 2021. I'll be doing all of those things. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I want to hear from you. Please hit me up. I'm going to end it here, and I will see you next time. But in the meantime, remember, fun is not optional. All right. Thanks, everybody. I am out. I have to do my awkward end stream thing now. Ending stream.